Hello everyone, Micah Barga here, aka Micah Jackson, and I'm going to give you the origin to the adventures of Micah. Well, it all started back in first grade. I had a crush on this girl that was in my class. While I was in love with her, I would fantasize about her being in danger. She could be kidnapped by bad guys, she could be tied to a railroad track, you name it. During this fantasy, I would imagine myself as a superhero swooping in and saving her life. She would then kiss me, I would be blushing and all happy, and we'd live happily ever after. Well, skip ahead 3 years to right after just completing fourth grade at the age of 10. I got the realization, or I thought to myself, I wonder what it'd be like to have a series that features myself as well as all my family and friends. This is when I was just discovering my destiny in life to make video games, and thus The Adventures of Micah was born. Although back in those days I was just calling the series Adventure. During my first few stages of planning, I got out pieces of paper and pencil and started drawing and writing all my ideas down on paper. Like what you see here. So I've illustrated things like concept art, game controls, character rosters, things like that. And 3 years later, I created my very first slideshow presentation using the software Microsoft PowerPoint. This was done at the age of 13, and this was like right on my first week of 8th grade. It featured 3 drawings that I've made of myself, 2 of which were me as my superpowered alter ego Power Micah here. And the last one was of me in my normal form, fighting my arch nemesis Trekker. Upon saving the presentation, the first name that popped into my head was The Adventures of Micah. And then 3 months later, in that same school year, I decided to create a sequel to the presentation, and then that sequel got a sequel. So, and in the long run, the first presentation I just created, I named that The Adventures of Micah, The Quest to Save Sarah. Then the first sequel I created 3 months after, that was The Adventures of Micah 2, The Trekker Gang Strikes. And then that sequel ended up being titled The Adventures of Micah 3, The Mysterious Kidnapping. 2 years later, I created my very first platformer using the software Game Maker. Bear with me here, my mind's going blank here. And this platformer featured me as the playable character, and the player's mission was to rescue my friend Sarah in the series. And at the end of the game, players would then fight my arch nemesis, Trekker. At first I titled that game Super Micah Friends, which was supposed to be a parody of Super Mario Bros., since I'm a big fan of that series. And then, skipping ahead a couple months in that same school year, I created a sequel to that game, which I titled Super Micah Friends 2 Operation Doubled. Back to the first Super Micah Friends, I wore the same outfit as in the Quest to Save Sarah presentation. And same with the sequel Super Micah Friends 2. I wore the same outfit in that game as I did in The Adventures of Micah 2, The Trekker Gang Strikes. But 1 month later, I saw that realization, so I decided to make a lot of changes to both Super Micah Friends 1 and 2 to make them resemble the slideshows a little better. And then they end up being retitled from Super Micah Friends to The Adventures of Micah and to their respective subtitles. And that actually led me into creating The Adventures of Micah 3 platformer. And not sure what year or era it was, but I eventually realized that Adventure and The Adventures of Micah kind of shared the same resemblance in regards to characters and certain missions and items and such. So, Adventure ended up being renamed to The Adventures of Micah. Well, there you have it. That's how The Adventures of Micah came to be, from start to finish. See you next time.